Last night, an arsonist went after the Fox News Christmas tree, which means it's time we're on Christmas.
There's a full-out war on faith in this country by the other side.
We're saying Merry Christmas again.
We're saying Merry Christmas again, everybody. All right, so now here's what we know. BBC New York reported that earlier this morning, a 49-year-old man, homeless man, had climbed a Christmas tree and lit it on fire. All right, so look, investigators at first could not confirm an incendiary device was used. Later on, he was found with a lighter, though they're saying, well, we don't know if he used a lighter. He used a lighter. Come on. That's the only thing he had in his pocket. But I want to show you the video here of the actual, the destruction, the damage that has been wrought. There it is. Tree on fire. So look, again, this was the person who did this was he was charged with a lot of different crimes as a result of this. And look, here's the thing: don't go burning trees. Not a good idea. Even if they're fake plastic Fox News trees, don't burn them. People could have been hurt. Obviously, not a good thing to do. Now, with that out of the way, let's go to some unhinged reactions from the right. Starting with Meghan McCain. Meghan McCain. Here's what she said. I don't want to hear anything about how radical some of you believe Republicans to be. There are lunatics running around New York City setting Fox News Christmas trees on fire. So now that that tweet was deleted because it was cringe. Total, absolute cringe. Again, setting fire to artificial trees, not good, don't do it. But January 6th, literally people did die. And there was much more vandalism that had happened. But that's not even the worst level hot take. And there were plenty. Brian Kilmeade, here's what Brian Kilmeade said. Homeless whack job burned our Fox News Christmas tree to the ground. Lawless NYC. Thanks, NYPD and FDNY for scrambling so rapidly to help. Wait. Oh, okay. Wait. Brian Kilmeade says, oh my God, New York City somehow super incredibly lawless because of the Democrats. But thank you so much for the very rapid police and fire response. What? Do you not see the contradiction? Honestly, do you not see the contradiction? Of course not. He works at Fox News. Seriously. All right. Now, again, more information about this man. His name is Craig Tamanahae. And look, the guy's homeless. That part is correct. And he has had some mental issues and some issues with, small arrests for public intoxication, drug possession. There's no political motive here. So let's just say that. Now, that's important to note because later on, you're going to hear how somehow this is Biden's fault. Of course. But now let me give you more details. So now he's expected to appear in court on Wednesday on charges of criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, arson, criminal nuisance, criminal trespass, criminal tampering, endangering others, and disorderly conduct. Police Commissioner Dermot Shea revealed that the investigators were considering whether mental illness had played a part in the arson. Shea said, the motive I don't think is clear at this point. It's an individual that is known to us. He has had a series of low-level arrests and drug arrests. He was issued earlier this year for some appearance tickets and didn't come back to court, which is unfortunately something we see all too often. Also, he has some low-level arrests out of state. The guy's got some issues, no doubt about it. Needs some health care, some help to get him out of his addiction. mental health care, a home, things like that. Okay. Now, there's more hot takes. Now, Gianna Codwell called it, quote, one of the most hateful acts. Hateful. Now, again, there's no motive here. The guy's just like, I don't know, I'm going to burn a tree down. Why not? Well, you shouldn't. But he's like, I guess, whatever. So this isn't motivated against conservatives or Fox News. Again, ridiculous to even think that this is a possibility, that people are thinking this, but they are, unfortunately. Now, Dagan McDowell pointed out the New York Times headline saying, tree catches fire. Well, it didn't spontaneously combust. A dangerous individual set the tree on fire. Sadly predictable. And of course, that's trashing the New York Times and saying, oh my God, quote unquote liberal media covering for a Christmas tree arsonist. Must be the Democrats' fault. Now, here's what the New York Times is trying to do. They're trying to be super neutral, right? And saying, oh, well, we got to make sure to know the facts first before we say this and that. And so, we got to use alleged. It's the same thing, right? But and people harp on that stuff all the time. That's not evidence of a bias. If anything, they're just being super careful so they don't get sued. But anyway, you can't really win with some of these people. But here's the thing. The right wing's using this as a way to attack Joe Biden and the Democrats, and we haven't seen this quite yet, but I'm pretty sure they're going to later on prove that there's a war on Christmas. Now, the first thing that I said is that, they're going to use this to attack Joe Biden. Well, that's exactly what Ronna McDaniel, head of the RNC, literally did. Here's what she said on Fox News.
What this poll is telling us is we're going to take back the House and the Senate, and the American people want to change. Biden's underwater. Harris's approval is under 30%. And Republicans are more trusted on three key issues: the economy, inflation, and crime. And these are issues we're seeing every day on our streets, around our home, in our communities, on the news. Look at your Christmas tree that was just burned down. This is a huge problem for Democrats.
This is a huge problem for Democrats. Why? This has nothing to do with the Democrats. Seriously. Wow. Now, again, there's no war on Christmas as well. This entire thing's made up. But what is real is the issue with homelessness, addiction, and crime. Those are real things, right? Now, unfortunately, there are members of both parties that don't want to deal with any of those issues. They don't want to deal with it. And by deal, I mean actually solving the root causes of those things, which, as I mentioned, both Democrats and Republicans generally don't want to do. Progressives do want to solve those issues. Democrats kind of, and you see it again with New York City, LA, they kind of want to sweep it under the rug. Although I remember a story you probably did back in 2014 where there was a Democratic congressman in Hawaii who was literally going out there with a bat and smashing up homeless people's carts. Like they had a shopping cart, they keep their valuables in it. And this guy's like, oh, no, you don't. I mean, you think about it this way. The liberal response to homelessness is to paint a bench rainbow colors while putting anti-homeless spikes up in it. Like, that's a thing. That's a thing. So, nobody wants to deal with it. Nobody wants to actually solve the actual problems because we as a culture are still overly punitive and think, homelessness is a character flaw, and that's your problem and not a societal flaw. So that said, that's the reaction, okay? And by the way, New York, you can't blame Republicans here. Democrats are in power. They're not dealing with the homelessness. But that's not to say that if you put the Republicans in power, they're going to do anything better. It's just they're not interested. They're not interested. But getting back to the reaction here, okay? So this is what conservatives are triggered by. Not the attack on the congressional building. Not the assault on reproductive rights. Hell, they're leading the assault on reproductive rights. They're not worried about working people that are being crushed by corporations. working conditions that are incredibly poor in this country, wages, anything that helps the material conditions of the average person. No, they're not even concerned about the constant demonization of Black and LGBTQ plus Americans. In fact, once again, they're leading that. They're leading the attacks against immigrants. But when it comes to a Christmas tree burning, there's the outrage. The eyes open immediately. Oh, outrage! The tree is on fire. We're on Christmas. There's your outrage. There's your outrage. Once again, it really does tip their hand and show that they really care way more about property and symbolism, and of course trying to stick it to the other side, than actual people, human beings. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.